There is this popular saying that numbers don't lie, but what if I told you that when it comes to the mainstream music industry, the majority of the streaming numbers of these so-called A-list artists are fake? I know, fans love to argue about their favorite artists, and most of us lean on streaming numbers to back up our claims, but here's the thing, those numbers aren't always what they seem. They're not as real as you think, especially when it comes to artists signed to major labels. You're probably wondering, well, how is that even possible? After all, these artists are hugely popular, and well, yes, they are famous, but that doesn't mean the numbers that they've been portraying are genuine. If an artist is signed to a major label, there's a good chance they've benefited from the powerful matrix of streaming farms. Now, that doesn't mean that they don't make good music or they lack talent, but let's be real. Their so-called record-breaking numbers are bogus at best. If you've ever questioned the claims of fake streams in the mainstream music industry, well, you've come to the right spot because today we're breaking down the mystery. But before we get into the finer details, be sure to like and subscribe to our channel. It's a little gesture that helps us bring you more content just like this. But here's the thing, a lot of people don't realize. The music industry operates like a fictional Hollywood movie. Most of what we believe is real just isn't. It's a massive industry that thrives on the concept of illusion, and in recent years, it's only gotten worse. At this point, it's tough for regular fans like us to tell the difference between reality and fiction. The game plan is simple. Inflate an artist's streaming numbers to create the illusion of massive success. When their music seems to be everywhere, it forces the average listener to tune into the music, even if they weren't planning to. You're probably thinking it's impossible, right? Well, you're wrong, and we'll tell you why. Labels are well aware that fans are obsessed with the numbers game because we've been conditioned to think numbers don't lie. And since fans use those numbers to compare artists and their perceived success, the labels have learned how to manipulate them, and it's so sad that this is the reality of the music industry right now. Fake streams have outrightly become an epidemic in this generation's music landscape, and most people don't even realize it. If you think your favorite artist is exempt from this fake stream game, you're in for a rude awakening. Let's take Drake for example. The reason why many are criticizing his petition against UMG and Kendrick is that many believe he is being hypocritical, and rightly so. After all, the same strategy he's accusing them of using for Kendrick has almost certainly been used for him too. According to insider reports, at least up to 10% of all music streams are considered fake, thanks to a sophisticated system known as streaming farms. This is, without a doubt, one of the best eras to be an artist, but looking at it from another perspective, it's also one of the worst. One artist who has never shied away from exposing the truth about how the major labels boost artists behind the scenes is none other than Russ. In case you don't know Russ, he is one of the most successful independent artists in the game right now, which is an incredible feat when you consider that he doesn't have the financial backing or industry influence that artists on major labels do. The advent of the internet has been both a blessing and a curse, especially for the music industry. It feels like ages ago when the only way to access an artist's music was through the radio or a CD player, which meant you had to physically buy their album. Now the traditional physical album copies that used to be the gold standard for measuring an artist's success are sadly fading into extinction as the world has revolved predominantly to the digital space. This means there's no real need to own a physical copy of an artist's album anymore since fans can easily stream it. Unless you're an old school music enthusiast who loves collecting vinyl, almost everyone has gone digital. It's important to note that the advances in technology have solved a lot of problems for the music industry. Now it's easier for an average artist to put their music out there and promote it, something that wasn't so straightforward back in the day. However, this shift to digital has also changed the perspective from which fans used to judge artists' success. In today's world, the only thing that matters is an artist's streaming numbers. But what many people fail to realize is the powerful monopoly the advent of streaming platforms has created in the industry and how disadvantageous it has become for artists, especially the independent ones. The rise in streaming platforms has shifted the power conundrum exclusively to the hands of the label. You're probably wondering how that's possible, and I'm going to break it down for you. You see, there's only one major company that holds the reins of the numbers and is charged with the responsibility of artist placement on the charts that matter, and that company is none other than Billboard. What many fans don't know is that Billboard doesn't just oversee the charts. It also owns some of the biggest music publications in the music industry. But not just that, they also own the biggest and most recognized analytics provider in the entire industry. With one company controlling so much, why do fans continue to base an artist's worth on chart positions or numbers? Do we really believe these numbers can't be manipulated? Well, let's take a little dig deeper and find out. For those who aren't really familiar with the business side of music, there's an entity called smokescreen companies. These companies work closely with labels and play a very vital role in an artist's sales strategy. On the surface, these companies appear as legit marketing agencies, but what they actually do goes much deeper. They're paid to boost an artist's streams in a way that blends seamlessly with actual marketing efforts so it doesn't look suspicious. Y'all are probably wondering, is this even legal? Well, technically it isn't, but it's an open secret in the music industry. Every major label is in on it with these smokescreen companies, which means nobody will call them out or have them shut down. They're all benefiting after all, and every day, these so-called marketing agencies are only becoming more critical to the system. Now, one thing we can all agree on is that there has always been a shady side to the music industry, even before the rise of today's sophisticated technologies. The operations in this business have never been black and white, but things have gotten way worse now and a lot more gray, especially with the way powerful entities could manipulate these same advancements in tech that are supposed to benefit the artists. Recently in Denmark, a man was indicted and sentenced for generating music royalties through streaming despite being an unknown artist. While this case didn't generate a lot of buzz in the mainstream media, it was a very interesting one, a fascinating example of how deep the problem runs. This man basically created a profile on the major streaming platforms, then went and remixed ready-made songs from other artists and posted these remixes to his own account. Now this is where it gets interesting. After uploading the songs on these profiles, he went on to use sophisticated methods to artificially farm these songs, raking in exponential numbers of streams. This dude was making some serious cash, going as far as becoming Denmark's 46th highest earning artist in that time frame, roughly between 2014 and 2017. That's crazy, right? Well, we thought so too, but it gets even more insane. By the time he was caught, this man had earned over $650,000 in royalties from more than 600 songs uploaded across various distributor platforms. For someone relatively unknown to pull off such numbers is absolutely bonkers. This case perfectly illustrates the reality of fake streaming and how much of a powerful tool it has become for labels. This here is why you shouldn't base your love for an artist solely on the number of streams they're raking in. There are a lot of great artists and bands out there creating incredible music, but they don't have the numbers to back it up. Using an artist's streaming numbers, chart positions, or the number of awards won to rank their greatness is a really shallow thing to do if we're being honest. Gone are the days when fans loved and appreciated artists purely for their artistry. Awards or streaming numbers don't determine a great artist. The quality of music and how it resonates with you as a fan is what really matters. So much fake stuff out there in the music game that y'all don't even have a clue about. From fake streams to fake followers, you really can't take anything away from these labels and their marketing agencies. Very few artists are truly organic, and sadly, many of them don't get the recognition they deserve. Labels have mastered the psychology of numbers, and they're using it to full effect. Naturally, an average consumer trusts the numbers of sales a product has made. It makes them perceive a product as valuable, and they're more likely to buy into it. The common term for this phenomenon is what we call social proof, and this same concept applies in the music industry too. If you don't know by now, people often tend to make their choices based on the thoughts and opinions of others. Believe it or not, very few people are self-conscious and self-aware, at least to the point that they can resist following the herd. Major labels heavily invest in building the social proof of their artists to gain the trust of the average listener, and to achieve this, they rely on fake streams. The more viable the numbers, the higher the chances that an average consumer will give a song a listen. Artists are made to appear bigger than they actually are, an illusion that works every time. There's no doubt that the ones who suffer the most from this fake streaming epidemic are independent artists. They don't have either the financial backing or the industry clout to manipulate their stats, and that effectively means their songs are left to struggle in the wilderness trying to find their way to the spotlight. Genuine artists who put in real effort to promote their music often find their work drowned out because no matter how hard they try, their songs simply don't rank. It's a sad truth about the current climate of the music industry, and it's even crazy how no one really cares how unethical and deceptive it is to make moves like this for an artist. This is one of the reasons the overall quality of music has declined. Even artists with little to no talent can climb up the charts and garner millions of streams as long as they've got the backing of a major label. Now it's clear that the better an artist is portrayed to the public, the more money a label stands to make. While it's important to note that this strategy doesn't necessarily work on every artist, the fact remains that it works more often than not. You'd be surprised how powerful these labels are and the lengths they'll go to when it comes to profiting off an artist. But here's a kicker. This whole fake stream doesn't end on Spotify or other audio streaming platforms. It stretches to YouTube as well. If labels can farm streams on other platforms, what makes us assume they can't do the same with YouTube as well? Even though the platform has claimed in its policies that it will crack down on artificial increases in the number of views, likes, or comments, that hasn't made it impenetrable for streaming farms. Either they don't know it or just don't care, but fake views have long existed on the platform. For many who don't know this, music videos are also counted towards Billboard's Hot 100 placements, but it only started in 2019. If you remember back in 2022, there were rumors of Atlantic Records buying fake views for different rappers on their artists, but one name that made a lot of people believe in the allegation was Don Toliver. DT dropped a music video for Do It Right, and within a couple of hours of releasing the video, it had racked up close to 8 million views and over 89,000 likes, which is insane numbers for an artist of DT's caliber. But what really caught people's attention was thousands of what seemed like bot comments. Now, if artists who are supposedly A-list are allegedly using bots in streams, what more could we say about B-list artists? Now you're probably asking yourself, how do we spot fake streams? Well, the simple answer is you can't. It's such a sophisticated process that it's nearly impossible to detect. The only way you could spot this easily is if it was done by amateurs or newbies, and that's becoming rarer and rarer these days. But the best way to know which artist is really making waves is proof of them packing out venues when they go on tour. Being able to sell tickets on tour can't be streamed or farmed. It's either people rock to your music or they don't. You'd easily spot artists using bots and stream farms to boost their digital sales if they find it difficult to sell out venues that align with their digital numbers. So there you have it. What's your take on this new reality of bots and fake streams? Do you think it is sustainable, or do you miss the old days of buying actual CDs? Let's discuss in the comment section below. You made it this far, which means you like the content and it resonates with you. So like and subscribe to the channel as well, so it helps us bring you more interesting content. Ring that bell icon too so you stay up to date anytime we upload a video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.